Welcome to Huddle Up, brought to you by the Fields Huddle Group. Jaguars senior writer John Oehser, NFL Network analyst and former Jaguar Bucky Brooks, and senior reporter J.P. Shadrick bring you the latest on your Jacksonville Jaguars. Huddle Up starts right now.
Yes, it does. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks on this Wednesday, August 14th. J.P. Shadrick, John Oehser from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. Bucky Brooks in L.A. Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, brought to you by Fields Auto Group Jacksonville. See Fields first, Jacksonville's premier luxury auto group. Go to fieldsauto.com. Here's what's coming up on the show today. Joint practices underway. The Jaguars and the Buccaneers at the Miller Electric Center. They got underway today. Starters getting work, and most of their work will be in those two practices this week. And we are approaching 3 weeks to kick off weekend of the National Football League. John, good afternoon. Bucky, good afternoon. What's up?
I'm here. So is Bucky.
What's up, fellas? What's up? Like, really excited. I missed the joint practices.
Yeah, you missed some action today. It was clean action, no fighting, none of that stuff going on. It was both teams getting a lot of work done, and you know, they've been working on this thing for a long time. Doug Peterson, we'll hear from the head coach. Let's hear from him right now, in fact, talking about the joint practices and what to expect. When did they begin working on this process?
At least go all the way back to the spring when the preseason scheduling and the games. You know, you're talking about games and things of that nature, and so we've been talking since May, quite honestly, and putting everything together and. Kind of sign off on it back then, so that now the coordinators can just get together and do the scripting and things of that nature.
And that scripting over the last week and a half or so, they trade personnel groupings, and then they can work more efficiently, Bucky. And that's two staffs working together, two groups of players working together to get better.
Yeah, I kind of like what Doug Peterson talked about in the presser when he talked about it's not really about them, it's about us. It's about being able to get the work in. He was talking about the positives of working against another team in a controlled environment. So you get the benefits of playing in the game because the increased intensity, the tempo, the physicality, but it's a controlled environment so you can protect the quarterback. You don't necessarily tackle to the ground in every drill, and you get to dictate the situation, whether it's 2-minute, 4-minute, third down, red zone. You get to put all those things that you want to see from your team, and you get to do it on your terms. So I love that part. I know coaches love that, and then it allows you to play your young guys in the game to see them in game action.
Yeah, I think Doug's approach makes sense, and I'm assuming a lot of coaches take this. You have 3 preseason games now, and everyone's talking about the preseason doesn't matter, but for evaluation, for Bucky's former world scouting, it does make a difference in terms of evaluation and prep. So Doug really takes these 2 practices, and I think it treats them as 2 games for the starters in terms of the work they get, in terms of evaluation and all those things. So they've sort of replaced one of the preseason games with these 2 practices. And then obviously, as you said, JP, I don't expect any, quote, starters. I expect there to be 35 guys. Maybe that many, 17 to 20 guys for the Jaguars who suit up and don't play. And then they'll come back and play in preseason week 3, but not on Saturday.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. Do you get some final work because there's 16 days between the last game, 15 days between the last preseason game and the regular season opener. So that's a lot of time to be sitting off to the side. There would be some practices right before Labor Day weekend, but not the same.
Yeah, and you wonder what the approach would have been if we were still at 16 games, but we're not.
No, we are not. We certainly are not.
So who cares?
No. Day one review, you can tell this is a talented Bucs team, certainly on defense. They have all-pro and Pro Bowl players at each level of the defense. They've got a wide receiver group, Bucky, that can hang with pretty much anybody, and this is a talented team down in Southwest Florida.
Yeah, really talented team. And we saw firsthand last year when we got whooped down the stretch how talented this team could be. From a defensive standpoint, they do a lot. They bring a lot of pressure at you. They really challenge your protection schemes. And then they do a really good job of challenging you on the perimeter, either be it man or in zone coverage. And then offensively, Baker Mayfield and that, I'm going to say a big body crew of pass catchers. They can make life miserable for you on the perimeter if you don't have the guys that can really compete with those supersized wide receivers, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. So it's a really good team to go against. There should be a lot of benefits to being able to play against a team like this for a couple of days before you play a preseason game.
Yeah, they have a Hall of Famer wide receiver. Mike Evans is as good as there is. He's one of my favorite players in the NFL to watch. Full disclosure, I had battery trouble this morning and made it for the very end of practice. Didn't see anything. JP, my understanding is the DBs played okay against this bunch.
It felt like I didn't get to see most of the reps. I was kind of on the other field a lot of the times, but I think they held their own for the most part. It's not like Mike Evans went off for like 10 catches and a bunch of scores and things, but I was interested to see, how Tyson Campbell held up against a matchup like that and the new style of defense they want to play. And we'll see some more of that tomorrow, to be honest with you. I'll flip fields tomorrow and get a better look at the DBs against the wide receivers. Today, for me, it was Bucs defense against Jaguars offense, especially the lines. That's what stood out to me today.
And for a reporting 101, for people who are listening to this, it is tough at a joint practice. It sounds like, well, you would just watch practice. But the reality is there's really two practices going on. Yeah. There's offense, defense, and then defense, offense on the other side. So it's really impossible to watch, if you're trying to watch one-on-one pass rush, it's really impossible on one day to try to watch that, try to watch 7-on-7. It's particularly hard when you're not there.
It was true.
In me and Bucky's case.
But, and there's two fields, and to your point, John, you got 7-on-7 on one end of the field of each field, Bucs offense, Jags defense, Jags offense, Bucs defense. And then the other end of each field are the one-on-one pass rush, vice versa. So that's 4 hives of activity, and you can only be in one place at one time, Bucky, but that's the most efficient way to get it done, and they certainly take the time they are allotted.
Yeah, no, being able to do that, John is right. And it was really a vivid description because that's what happens. You have to pick which practice you're going to attend. Do you want to follow the offense? Are you following the defense? What matters? But I think the defense, like the Jaguars defense, like that's the one that you're really curious to see, because it's one thing to proclaim that, hey, you're going to be a man-to-man team. You're going to play man-to-man. You're going to take away the layups and the deep shots and force quarterbacks to make these low percentage throws. It's another thing to make sure that your actions match your words when you're facing wide receivers that are in the upper echelon in the league. So, look, I give them credit, and I really give the Jaguars defense, the defensive backs, a lot of credit because I would say they've surprised me. I know it's only been practice, but I've been pleasantly surprised by the way they've been able to go nose to nose and hang in there. And part of that is with an eye towards the season opener when they have to take on the Miami Dolphins and that track team that they have down in South Florida.
I have some thoughts on Brian Thomas Jr. later, because my understanding is he looked very good, and I think he's looked really good the last few weeks. But people listening, they probably heard there's some stuff on Twitter about the offensive line had its issues today against the Buccaneers front at times.
Yeah, and I would say most of that was in 11-on-11 work.
Right.
I think in one-on-ones for the most part they were okay, but you could tell there were a lot of times where Trevor had either pressure in his face or would have been sacked. They blew it dead. He threw it anyway, right? There were a number of those that stood out today. So
my question to Bucky, first of all, considering the Tampa Bay strength is the interior defensive line, I think that's not unexpected that would happen. Also, with offensive line play, they're still working through this thing, right, Bucky? Or is there a reason to panic? Are you panicked on the West Coast, Bucky?
I'm not panicked yet. Like, there are going to be times where, look, they're going to be overwhelmed from a personnel standpoint. The team elected to kind of keep things status quo. You bring in Mitch Morris, but you go back with Brandon Sheriff, and you're hoping with Ezra Cleveland and Cam Robinson, Anton Harrison, that you're able to kind of get the kind of performance that you need up front to allow Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne and that perimeter crew to get busy. And there are going to be some days where you're outmatched. And can you find a way to either out-effort or out-scheme those opponents who have superior personnel on the inside? Today was kind of one of those tests where the coaches may have to whip the Buccaneers with the power of the pen as opposed to relying on force at the point of attack.
And my understanding, for clarification, Cam Robinson and Anton Harrison, from people I talked to, looked fine today. And the interior struggled a little bit against Villa. Well,
Most
as I
most
said,
do.
yeah, I mean, they join a long list of people who have struggled against that guy. So no reason to panic yet. Something to watch tomorrow.
We're back in a moment. We'll hear from Arik Armstead. And yes, a little later, we'll get into Brian Thomas's day.
I look forward to that.
At the office. The Jaguars and the Buccaneers, joint practice is underway today. They'll get back at it tomorrow. And this is Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinders home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval. Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars. Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly. UNF is a top public university committed to serving the region, a place where visionary minds come together to create effective solutions. With more than 70% of their graduates working in the area, UNF is North Florida's university, offering 100-plus majors, affordable tuition, and programs in high-demand fields. Soar into your future at UNF. Visit unf.edu to learn more.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon. Come on! From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns to turnovers and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice! Let's go! This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
My goal is to feel good and get off to a good start in the season and prepare to have a dominant season, but also at the same time realizing that it's a 17-game season, and my goal is always to be my best when my best is needed, and I think I have a great track record of that. And looking at a season as a whole, I want to get off to a good start, obviously, but also I want to be, there for my team when they need me the most in December, in January, in February. So that's always been my goal.
Arik Armstead visiting with the media today. Welcome back. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, JP Shadrick, John Oehser in Jacksonville, the Miller Electric Center, the Hyundai Studios. Bucky Brooks out in L.A. The full press conference from Arik Armstead, AA, today on Jaguars.com. Activated off the physically unable to perform list today, but did not practice in the team portion. And he'll have more work, it sounds like, John, next week ahead of the Falcons game and probably some time in that ball game. That's the goal.
You'd think. I mean, I think he has an acclimation period just like Deshaun does, right? We have to come back.
Yep.
So that would put him probably a couple of days into next week. Would they put him out there on a Friday? Maybe for a couple of plays. I don't think you need to have to push him back. I think Doug stated several times, and it makes sense. This is a guy who knows how to prepare. After 10 years, with a defensive end, I don't know that you necessarily have to see a whole lot of him. There's not that much chemistry to develop compared to other positions. So I think you just make sure that he's as physically ready as he can be when it's time to start, Buck.
Yeah, no, you want to give him time to get right. You want to give him time to feel good about what he's being asked to do within the defense. You want Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker to get used to playing with him. And even though you can't ramp it up to have like full contact stuff with him consistently, you want them just to kind of begin to develop the chemistry that they need. And we have to understand that it may be a slow start for Arik Armstead and this unit up front the first 3 or 4 games, but you're hoping to accelerate some of that that process by getting them on the field, getting them acclimated, letting those guys kind of work together and play together to see if we can get off to a really fast start the first month of the season.
I have a question for the national analyst.
Oh, wow.
JP.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
This is 30,000 feet stuff. How good is he, Bucky? I mean,
look,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think he's
what does he really
good.
bring?
I think he's really good. I think he's long. I think the people who are really familiar with Calais Campbell, he'll be similar to that. Maybe not as good as Calais has been at his best, but I think he gives you some of what Calais would have given you on the inside. Big, long, rangy player on the inside, someone that can command attention to create double teams for the guys outside. And when you think about the prospect of having Josh Allen, Arik Armstead, Trayvon Walker all on the field together, man, that is a supersized front line to be able to deal with. So it's not only what they can do on the pass rush, but how big and how beefy they are when it comes to defending the run.
Are there any concerns coming off an injury like this? I mean, he's a 10th-year player, Bucky, so it's always going to be in the back of your mind moving ahead, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's always going to be in the back of your mind. Like it's an issue. It's an issue because he's been injured, and there's some concerns about how healthy he will be able to play when it comes to playing 17 games. But if you're the Jaguars and you can manage his load, what you're hoping to get is an experienced, savvy veteran that can help you make plays down the stretch. We talk about the season being a marathon, not a sprint. I think Arik Armstead, his value is how we need him to play the last 8 games of the season, more so than the beginning of the season.
We're back in a moment, and we'll get on back to the offensive side of the football. And Brian Thomas Jr., a couple highlights today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
You'll take my word for it.
I will.
We're back in a moment. Zip Chair, furniture for fans. If you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com to browse all customizable options. Yes, Zip Chair, furniture for fans. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, and we have some great news. Fields has the vehicle you want, in stock, priced right, and ready for delivery.
Fields Auto Group is Jacksonville's luxury automotive destination for Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Inventory is back and available for immediate delivery.
And every Fields customer can take advantage of our Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes. You deserve the best.
Stop by today or go to fieldsauto.com.
Chelsea here with Renewal by Anderson. Renewal by Anderson specializes in energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors that are twice as tough as vinyl. Save money through the month of August and save $300 on every window and $825 on every patio door. Plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Some restrictions apply. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Go to rbfla.com to book your design consultation today. License number CGC 1527613.
The 2024 season is pawsome. Register your pet for the Four-Legged Fan Club, presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your furry friend can access exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Fan club members will be automatically entered to win the Pet of the Game sweepstakes, with 2 Jags tickets and sideline passes for pet owners, and the chance for your pet to be featured on the video boards as Pet of the Game. Visit Jaguars.com/promotions/Four-Legged Fan Club to sign up. Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, and we have some great news. Fields has the vehicle you want, in stock, priced right, and ready for delivery.
Fields Auto Group is Jacksonville's luxury automotive destination for Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Inventory is back and available for immediate delivery.
And every Fields customer can take advantage of our Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes. You deserve the best.
Stop by today or go to fieldsauto.com.
Ready to fuel up for summer fun? Join the MyGate Rewards loyalty program and pump up the savings. This summer, become a new loyalty member and save 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. Already a member? Now you can earn rewards 10 times faster. For every $10 spent in store, save 5 cents per gallon at the pump. Stop by Gate today to crank up your summer savings. Offer ends August 31st, 2024.
Listen up. Just like football, timing is everything. Only water your lawn when necessary. And always check the weather before turning on those sprinklers.
Save water, save money, and score big. It's a win-win.
Whether you're on the field or at home, we're all on the same team. Florida's water. It's worth saving. This message brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Visit sjrwmd.com for more information.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
A lot of these guys, man, I'm old enough to be some of these guys' dads, man. So some of these guys, man, I remember a guy was just like, I used to watch you in 7th grade, and I was just like, man, don't tell me that no more, man. He's like, I was in the 6th grade when you came in the league. So, man, obviously it's humbling that, the respect that the guys have given me since I stepped foot in this locker room. And, obviously just being any sort of assistant to these guys, man, got a lot of great young players, man. So I'm excited to just be able to give those guys what I got physically and mentally for sure.
To Sean Gibson Sr., back with the Jaguars, 13th year safety, 34 years of age. Welcome back. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, JP Shadrick, John Oehser in Jacksonville. Bucky Brooks out in Los Angeles. Gibson will miss the first 6 weeks of the regular season, the PED suspension, but back with the Jags, a team he played for 3 years. And, he's just got to kind of get up to speed here the last couple weeks of training camp in preseason, and then shut it down for about 6 weeks. But, hey, veteran player, in theory, will be available middle of the season, stretch run, and the whole thing.
Well, I think there's something to that, having a guy who will be available at the end of the season in the last, 7-8 weeks, or 11 weeks.
Yeah.
So there is some, at first, I guess most people, well, he's Dewey's replacement. Well, not really, but you do need depth late in the season, and this is a thing where, and Bucky can probably speak to it more than I can. If you're Trent, you like the idea of, hey, there's going to be injuries on the team, probably. So this is a guy who will be healthy coming off the suspension. You've got 11 weeks. You don't have to worry about him being prepared. You don't have to be worried about him ready. And a Gip is a good, smart player. He was a good player when he was here. He wasn't the most touted guy on those 16 to 18 defenses, but every one of those defenses was really good. And he played 16 games in all of them, really smart. And I think it's a good, safe move, Bucky.
Yeah, no, this is an old school move. This is a move that Ron Wolf would make routinely in the middle of the season to bring a veteran for the stretch run. What the Jaguars are able to do, and some of this is also the new rules when it comes to practice squad and those things where you can carry veterans and those things. Not saying that Gibson is going to end up there, but down the stretch when it gets really thick and the pressure rises and you may have injuries, but you may just need a seasoned veteran to be on the field in some capacity just to settle all the young guys down. Last year, because of the way everything finished, I think the Jaguars are being proactive in making sure they have enough veterans with winning pedigrees to help steer this team to the winner's circle if it becomes a very tightly contested deal down the stretch. Gibson gives them that. So the 6-game suspension doesn't matter as much like I talked about with Arik Armstead, the last 8 games matter. Gibson is that. I think this is the team, because we've heard Doug talk about change and development. To develop the team is not just developing the young guys, it's having older guys in the fold to kind of be the elders in the locker room, to talk about these experiences, to show the young guys how to act, how to prepare, how to handle these big pressure games. I think they're doing a more intentional job of stockpiling the locker room with veterans who've played in these games to give the team a better chance to perform well down the stretch.
From the oldest guy on the roster to one of the newest and youngest guys, Brian Thomas Jr., Jaguars wide receiver, here on Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks. Today, there were a couple of highlight plays for him. You'll see them on social media pop up. And, you know, I think that just carries over, guys, from the performance in the game. He might have needed a long reception, a big play in that game last week, which he had on that first throw from C.J. Beathard down the field, 41 yards, making the leaping catch and contested and the whole thing, and the bench goes wild for him. It was a little bit of a slow beginning of camp, let's say, for him, but I think he started to find his way. And how much do you take out of that game for Brian Thomas Jr., that catch in that game last week, carrying over to the practice field and maybe building the confidence of a young player just trying to find his footing?
I think it matters a lot. I think it matters a lot because as a young player, you're looking for that welcome to the NFL moment. Sometimes it happens in preseason. Sometimes it happens at the beginning of the regular season. But for Brian Thomas Jr. to come in, and there's an immense amount of pressure on first-round picks, and particularly now in the social media age, everyone is able to voice those expectations directly to the player. So regardless of whether he says or acknowledges it, he has to feel that pressure. So to get the big play out the way, it matters. A couple of days ago, or maybe yesterday, Press Taylor was talking to the team, and I think this makes sense once I reference this. He talked about how he's been with places where the wide receiver core is built like a basketball team. And I grew up in a scouting world where we talked about the wide receiver core like a basketball team. And when I think about our team, I want everyone to kind of envision like the Golden State Warriors when they were at their best, right? So you had KD and Steph, who were kind of like the go-to guys. They're the scorers. Everything that you do offensively is designed around them getting loose. And so that's Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk, because we've heard the team talk about how this offense works inside out when it comes to the passing game. Well, Klay Thompson was available to kind of stretch the defense to give those guys more opportunities to go one-on-one. In the past, the Jaguars didn't have anybody that could stretch the defense, so they could collapse and condense the field. Well, now with Brian Thomas Jr., with Gabe Davis, you now have these 3-and-D guys that can stretch the field, create more space. So now the horizontal passing game works with the vertical passing game on the outside. I would say the emergence of Parker Washington could be that sixth man, that guy that brings energy off the bench, that gives you something different. Jamal Agnew did it, but Parker Washington has an opportunity to be a better player. And so you have him, and then also Devin Duvernay, who showed up with the big catch. I will say this could be the most dynamic and most versatile wide receiver core that they've had, and that could be problematic for opponents, really trying to slow down an offense that should be very balanced, very versatile, and very dynamic if the protection up front is solid.
And, Bucky, to your point, Parker Washington continued that today. I mean, there were a few contested balls that he had today that he went out there and made catches, guys on his back, making plays, John, and that's a really a great step in the right direction for a guy now in year 2.
Yeah, because I thought they were in good shape, honestly, when they had Evan and Christian and Gabe Davis. Because historically, I expect nothing out of rookies. Well, Brian Thomas is changing that a little bit, because now all of a sudden every day you look up and he's making a play in practice that's difficult and you think maybe could translate to the game. I think it was yesterday's practice. He had a nice where he sort of climbed the ladder and went up and caught one from Trevor Lawrence. If he does that once or twice a game, keeps sticks moving as part of a bigger receiver core, then that's a big deal. I thought the biggest thing the other night, and you know me, JP, I usually make very little out of this kind of stuff. But the way the teammates went crazy over that catch.
Oh, yeah.
Showed me, I mean, and
big.
It showed me that they like this kid, right? And, you know, it shows me that he's fitting and that they're enthusiastic about each other. And I'm not going to get into what it was last year because I never got the feeling that there was a problem last year in that respect. But remember how special it was between the receivers in 22? Meaning those guys talked every week about how Christian, Zay, Evan, and I'm drawing a blank, Marvin Jones, they didn't care one iota who got the ball to any degree that receivers can actually mean that, right? I mean, obviously they want the ball. But it feels like that again, and it sure felt like that when the kid caught the ball the other night. That's not everything, and I'm the old cynical hack who thinks that means nothing, Bucky. But it feels like that means something for this bunch.
I absolutely believe it means something. And to me, you know, the reaction with Brian Thomas Jr. is not only just him, but, I mean, it's very similar to in baseball. Everyone, chicks dig the long ball, right? So when you see the explosive part of the offense come out, when you see the big ball, and so it becomes contagious. So then Brian Thomas Jr. has one, then Devin Duvernay has one. So now it becomes about delivering those explosive plays, and it changes the way the defense has to attack the Jaguars. I think the team should be commended, and I don't know what it's going to look like when the regular season plays out record-wise. I think the team has been intentional in a couple different areas. They've been very intentional about how the pieces of the puzzle fit together in terms of skill-wise. But I think the biggest intent has been personality-wise, this team fits, and the personalities in the locker room are those that mesh well together in all areas. I think the offensive personnel meshes well with the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, and his leadership style. And then I think defensively, all of these guys are on the same page in terms of what their individual agendas are within what they want to accomplish as a team.
And just one more thing to add to that. After the game, you probably saw it, JP, when Brian Thomas was speaking to the media on Saturday night, Gabe Davis came over and had his arm around him. Yeah. Well,
but he said, "Hey, he's single too."
Yeah,
right.
Whatever it was. These are guys who've known each other about a minute and a half, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So, and it didn't feel fake, right? It feels like Gabe Davis likes this kid, wants to see him do well. Obviously, making an effort to make the young kid feel at home, but Gabe Davis barely feels at home. So to see that happening again, I think it's. You lock on to some storylines in camp, things you start see happening. That, to me, feels like one that makes it feel a little bit like it felt in 22.
Not a bad thing at all. We're back in a moment. Final thoughts. We'll hear from Press Taylor as well. Jaguars offensive coordinator had a different vantage point last week and will again this week. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, and we have some great news. Fields has the vehicle you want, in stock, priced right, and ready for delivery.
Fields Auto Group is Jacksonville's luxury automotive destination for Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Inventory is back and available for immediate delivery.
And every Fields customer can take advantage of our Fields amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes. You deserve the best.
Stop by today or go to fieldsauto.com.
The kick is up. It's good!
Score winning sub deals this Jaguar season at Firehouse Subs. Buy a medium hook and ladder sub and get a medium hook and ladder sub free when the Jaguars kick a field goal of 40 yards or more. It's a bold deal for the bold city. Download the Firehouse Subs app for offer details. Redeemable only at participating Jacksonville and Orlando area restaurants. Only available in the Firehouse Subs app. Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
Listen up. Just like football, timing is everything. Only water your lawn when necessary. And always check the weather before turning on those sprinklers.
Save water, save money, and score big. It's a win-win.
Whether you're on the field or at home, we're all on the same team. Florida's water. It's worth saving. This message brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Visit sjrwmd.com for more information.
There's a difference just in terms of what you see. You know, obviously up in the box it's more sterile. It's just a calm environment. You can kind of spread out your call sheet, look around a little bit. And then on the field there's more emotion that could be involved, probably not in the preseason game, but in the regular season games there's a lot more emotion that goes into it. But it's nice to be able to, you know, look guys in the eye when they come off, talk to them on the side, go sit next to other coaches as you get going with things and hitting through your next run list, which that's all stuff we did through the headset. But now just going and having that face-to-face interaction, that's nice as well.
That's Press Taylor, offensive coordinator, and welcome back. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, JP Shadrick, John Oehser, and yes, Bucky Brooks. Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks brought to you by Fields Auto Group Jacksonville. See Fields first, Jacksonville's premier luxury auto group. Go to fieldsauto.com. Yeah, different vantage point, John, with Press Taylor on the sideline for the first time calling plays last week. You said it's going to happen again this coming Saturday night, and heard the reasons why, and, you know, different perspective.
I laugh at some things in the NFL, you know, JP.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Fans who I love, right? I had some fans who are just convinced that moving Press to the sideline will be the secret sauce, right? This is going to be it. Well, to show you how things mean sometimes, Bucky, there's been a lot of Super Bowl champions and a lot of good offenses where that guy's sitting in the booth calling plays. Yeah, it's purely to me a preference thing where the guy's comfortable. Tell me, please, that I'm right on that, Bucky. It's purely preference on a coordinator where he calls plays.
Well, I think it's a combination. I think the coordinator first, but I think sometimes players. I think it depends on the communication with the players. Some guys prefer to have that face-to-face, eyeball-to-eyeball interaction when it comes to how do we fix things, how do we solve problems, and those things. Whereas in the other day, back in the day, some people used to like to be on the phone to be able to do it. Listening to Press kind of explain the communication piece and how they're trying to put it all together, because there are times where Doug has to go and pay attention to the defense or the special teams and how do they keep everybody in the loop. To me, it was more than just one person making the change to go down to the sideline. It switches the responsibilities of a few different people to make it where Press can be on the sideline and do those things. But on the sideline, I do believe Press can get a better sense for, hey, how's my quarterback really feeling? You can look him in his eyes. You can look at the body language. It's different than being up top, even though up top in the box allows you to lay out all your papers, put all your stuff together, and do that. It allows you to be more cerebral and analytical, whereas on the field, you have to be able to display more composure and poise while interacting with the players and all of that other stuff. So it takes a little bit of an adjustment.
We'll take a look at that again this week.
I just learned a little something.
There you go, John. See?
That's why we have Bucky on the show.
Don't assume.
That's why we pay Bucky the big bucks.
That's why his name is on the show.
That's right. It's the Bucky Brooks show, not the John Oehser show.
It certainly is. It's the Buccaneers and the Jaguars coming up Saturday night. It's a 7:30 kickoff time this week, Bucky. And, you know, Doug Peterson, at least in the past, has referenced, hey, you know, starters, most of their time will be in practices this week. We'll see how many, if any, get on the field this Saturday night, but it could be a big night for those guys trying to make that roster, the bubble spots. A lot of starts for some of those guys, a lot of those year two guys that are trying to make the team, and this could be Mac Jones getting a start in his hometown. So we'll see.
And Bucky, is this? I mean, does this make like the new format, does it make this preseason week 2 game the biggest game for young guys? I mean, I kind of sense they make their mark now and then they sort of confirm things in the second half next week.
Yeah, John, I'm with you on that. Like it's changed so much. Like just removing the one game changes everything. But yeah, like this is where you have to make your mark. You already see that teams make quick decisions after that first playoff game. You get the first exposure. And if it doesn't look right, you're bringing in veterans, adding different pieces to the puzzle and those things. But yes, this is the evaluation for those guys that are hanging on the bubble. You're trying to make it where the last game is the one where you can play your way onto the squad. But you have to continue to check off the boxes in week 1 and week 2. This is a huge week for a bunch of young players.
We're looking forward to it. Hope you'll be there Saturday night, 7:30 kickoff time. Bucky, have a great rest of your week. We'll see you here on Saturday.
All right, man. See you, fellas.
All right,
Bucky Brooks, NFL Network, Jaguars Television Network, Jaguars Radio Network, all the Jaguars networks you can think of. He's all over all.
The Bucky Brooks Network.
Yes, that could be next. That's John Oehser. I'm JP Shadrick. Our thanks to Brent Reber, Joe Fortunato, our entire crew here at Jaguars.com and Jaguars Media. This is Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks.